Hey everyone, it's Rich Big Daddy Salgado, and the name of my podcast is Big Daddy and Friends. So, I have one of my dearest friends, longtime friends, 11-year NFL veteran, Super Bowl champion, and so many more other things than that. So, let's say hello and big shout out to my man, Marvin Washington.
Yo, thanks for having me, man.
How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me on your initial show. Longtime friend, almost like family. Been on each other longer than most of probably some of your listeners have been alive.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we go back to, I think, when did you come in the league? 88? 89?
89.
Yeah, so we met when you were a rookie, and obviously we have to thank our man up there in heaven, Bill Hampton, for, making that introduction. And it's been it seems like yesterday we were just, going across the street to the deli to get sandwiches and whatnot in between two-a-days.
Time flies, and if people don't know who Billy Hampton is, the Hampton family is one of the things that the Jets could be proud of, because their father started as equipment man with the Jets back in '64. So he was there. I don't think the Titans, but he was there with the Jets, and Joe Namath has a Super Bowl ring. Mm-hmm. And retired from the Jets after 30-something years. Then his son, Billy, took over, and Billy worked at the NFL. And then his son, Clay, took over, and Clay moved up to administration. And so they had a 40-year or almost damn near 50-year run with the Hampton family in the Jets. And that was one of the few things that the Jets could have been proud of throughout, the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s that they were known by. And I'm glad that we were able to connect with Billy Hampton, our man up in heaven, Billy Hampton Sr., our man up in heaven, and Clay Hampton, who is now with the Houston Texans. So that's how we met, and we've grown from there. You've been with me through thick and thin, and good and bad, and and everything is good, bad, and ugly, and everything in between.
Yeah, it's been it was a learning process. It was, I looked up to you for a lot of reasons, obviously, because of who you were and who you are. And I have to tell a few stories that we're going to get some chuckles and laughs because,
Hey, keep them PG.
Yep, they'll be PG. But you know what? A lot of people don't know, and you know what? I'm not afraid to say this. I'm actually very proud of it, and I was always so taken by it. But a lot of people don't realize that, after remember I moved away and I lived in Pittsburgh, and then I came back, and I basically needed a place to live. I needed a car. I needed a lot of things, and one day I remember I said, man, I would love to, I drove your truck, and I was like, man, I would love to have one like that too. But, I really can't afford one. And to my shocking and surprisement, if that's even a word, I was so surprised that Marvin lent me the down payment for my first GMC Yukon that we had gotten from some Pontiac and Wantagh. And I was like a little kid at Christmas because, wow, I got a new truck like all these guys. And, I roll into practice and, yeah, man, I'm rolling and here we go. And I was so proud to tell everybody.
Nah, Rich, the whole thing was back then and the relationship that we had developed. A lot of people come around and they take from NFL athletes and they want to be around them because they're NFL athletes and what have you. But you were always a giver. You were always a good person. And by that time, you became family. You know, my wife knew you at the time. My kids knew you. You know, my sister knew you, and what have you. And so it was like you were like family, and that's what you do for family. And that's what you help out family when you can. And so that was a small token of appreciation for you, just being family, being friends. Because one of the things that helped with my maturation of being away from home and being in New York is your introduction, because you're like the king of Long Island, to the different delis, to the different restaurants, to the different, we used to go to the record store and get CDs and what have you. And so that was part of my maturation of being, in Long Island, being a man and learning how to activate some of the resources that you had introduced me to. So that's what that was about, man. And I don't regret it, and you're still the king of Long Island. I don't know if you pay for a meal out on Long Island, but it's all good, man. It's all good.
Well, you know what? Another story that I'm proud to share is you introduced me to Joe Wendt, and Joey made all your clothes and made a lot of clothes for a lot of people, and as some of the viewers or listeners may not know, but obviously I had to get a job, and I got into the insurance business. And again, I had a beautiful truck, and I lived at home, and then I moved out, but I needed clothes. And I remember you had signed your new contract. You had a big deal, and I had ordered some clothes from Joe, and I said to Joe, "Hey Joe, look, I'm going to pay you off little by little." And to another surprise, which a lot of listeners will be get a kick out of, was Joe said to me, "Hey, you don't owe me a thing." And I said, "Really?" I go, "I must have got about, I don't know, 5 or 6 suits, and you know how expensive those were, and shirts and ties, and I think Joe threw the ties in, but everything else, Marvin got it for me." So I was like, my God, he's not only dressing me, I now have suits that I can look respectable in, and also a new truck, and off I went. And
that's what it is, man. Because the whole thing is this: if you see somebody with potential and that is on the up and up, and they have talent, but they need a head start.
Yeah.
RIP to my man Billy Hampton. He went from the jet equipment room to working at NFL properties back in the day, and he was working in the equipment room every day, and he needed suits. And he called me, and I was like, "Bill, no problem. No problem, because this is the way of me paying it forward for what you guys did to me." And so you can't put a monetary amount for what you guys did for me, as far as, like I said, making my maturation, making me acclimated, because I was one of the few players on the Jets at the time that stayed in Long Island during the off season.
Yeah.
And so the Hamptons and you guys were family to me. So that was no issue. And one of the things that I remember is going to the restaurants, whatever. But the other things is, you went to school at Maryland. You used to bring up the crabs from Maryland.
Yeah.
Crabs, that we used to eat, and we used to just wait for all the other players to be gone out of there, and then the last guy would leave, and you would unveil the bushel of crabs, man. And that was wonderful, man. And so you're still a friend of mine. Clay Hamptons is still a friend of mine, and that's like 31 years right now, and counting. And your friendship has outlasted a lot of relationships that I've had, including my marriage. And we're still cool. My ex-wife, we talked to her today.
Yes,
we're still cool, but it's outlasted a lot of things, because one of the things that you cherish as you get older is friendships, and you are true friends. And I know that you have my back no matter what, and that's one thing that I cherish.
It's funny, because you look out, you think about I think about when we're together, all the things that we've done, and I've been fortunate to do. I mean, we've gone to NBA All-Star games, we've gone to hockey games. I mean, we've done and I've been blessed and fortunate because of your friendship, and also we can never forget the Hamptons. All the things that I was able to do in my 20s and early 30s because of you and them and so many other. I mean, listen, when I was in 11th and 12th grade, it was funny. Everyone was like, why are you wearing all this green stuff? All this, green turfs and, whatever it was that I got for free. And I'd be like, well, I just happen to have great friends over at, over at the Jets. And, you had your Reebok contract and, being that you wore a 14 and I was a 14 at the time,
yeah.
I'd go in your locker and be like, oh, those look fresh. I'll take those. And, Hamp would be like, yo, Daddy, he's going to get fired up, man, because he only got one pair. Order him another pair, man. It's all right.
Nah, that's the way it was, man. Like I said, it was family, you know what I'm saying? And family and friendships that endured, and that's one of the things that I'm proud of. And, I didn't have much success team-wise on the Jets as far as win-loss, but I did have success with the friendships that I cultivated, the friendships that I made, that moving back in this area 6 years ago, just reconnecting with people, that's one of the things that I did. And I can still call you and come out to Long Island and call Clay Hampton or his sister Beth that still lives up here, or brother Bryant that still lives up here, and they can introduce me to restaurants. And if I can say, hey, I need a TV, I need a wash and dryer, where can I go? They still do that for me. That's the whole thing, man. It's like the wins and the losses, yeah, it matters when you're playing. But after you finish playing, it's the friendships and the people that you met that you can cultivate and still talk, because as we go into our late 30s and early 40s, it becomes business, and it becomes, how can I help this person, with this business, or who can I introduce them to? And it's still today, you're telling me about, I got to introduce my boy, this, that, and the other. And it's still today, man. And so that's the thing that I'm most proud of with my tenure with the Jets, because like I said, team-wise, there wasn't much success, win-loss, but the friendships that I still have after 31 years.
And I'll tell you, I remember when you left the Jets, I think I was so heartbroken because that was the first time I experienced, someone not being around, because you were around for like 8 years.
Yep.
And I was so accustomed to seeing you all the time and, summertime, doing whatever, and, training camp, and then going to games during the year and whatnot. Then all of a sudden you were gone. And I was like, wow, I kind of felt like I didn't know what to do with myself.
Well, you had another connection in another city, and you learned about the NFL. There's two types of players, those that have been cut and those that will be cut.
Yeah,
and so that's 95% of the players, because rarely does one player play with one team and retire. But our guy Strahan is one of those rare players.
Yep.
But most of the guys switch teams, from Joe Montana to another friend of ours, Ronnie Lott. You got to know Ronnie Lott. His years up there, and that's just part of the game. But I still saw you, Rich. I still saw you in Denver. I still saw you when I was playing with San Francisco, and I remember we played Miami down in when I was with Denver. I think they beat us. We went 14-2 that year, but I think Miami beat us on a Monday night. But you were there, and I saw you at Super Bowl. So that's just part of it, man. And we've learned a lot about pro football since that. We were innocent back in '89. Yep,
absolutely. And I think one of the roughest moments, or not, I shouldn't say toughest, but one of the funnest moments I had was, here I am, my man is in the AFC Championship game, meaning you, but then you're playing the Jets. So it was funny because here I am cheering for you, and I'm actually sitting on your sideline, and I'm going, man, it looks like the Jets are going to win. But you guys came back, boom, then you're off to Miami to play Atlanta. And I think I was the happiest guy in the world when you guys went to the Super Bowl and you got your ring, because I know all the things that you went through being a member of the Jets. You know,
You know,
at times not being too successful, but you know what? Listen, there's guys that would give their left arm to be in the league for 1 year, let alone maybe 5 games, and you did it for 11 years. So that in itself speaks volumes. Plus,
you know,
a ring, and I'll tell you, I remember we hung out after you won the Super Bowl, and I'll never forget. I missed my flight the next day to the Pro Bowl. Because,
I barely made mine.
yeah, we celebrated a little bit too much, but those are times that I'll always never ever forget and always remember, because I was so, like you say, I learned a lot about football and the NFL, moving around and guys moving here. And then, obviously my roommate in Maryland, Neil O'Donnell, going to Pittsburgh. And then I remember
come to the Jets.
Yeah, and I remember being on the Jets. You guys played in Pittsburgh, and I'll never forget. I'm standing there and during pregame, and there's Billy Hampton had me running up and down the steps with the what do you call it, meeting the guy to get the film.
Oh, yeah.
The old school ways. And I was telling Billy, Billy, I was out all night last night. I'm going to last about 2 trips, and it's going to be time out. And on purpose, he gave me a gray Jets T-shirt that looked like I had taken a shower in, because all the perspiration was coming out of me, and I was sucking wind, and obviously, the Steelers won, and that was Neil's first start as a Steeler quarterback.
Wow.
In Pittsburgh, but
that's another great guy that you introduced me to, and we later became teammates with, and still friends to this day. I have warm affection and have the highest regard when I see Neil. When I went to San Francisco my last year, we played him, and he was a starting quarterback with the Titans, and we were trying to get him. But Neil is, he's one of our guys. He's a good guy. He was a solid NFL player, professional player, never got any trouble, never whatever, went to the Super Bowl. And, he's one of our guys and just a friend, And, that was one of the deals, like I said. The NFL career, it's fine and what have you, and I was lucky and blessed to have it. But it's the friends that I cultivated and still friends with. And Neil is one of those guys that you connected me to, and he's just a good guy. And I was happy to see him, leave the Jets and have some success with the Titans. Yeah. And I'm almost happy to see his success now, because he's happy. And whenever we see each other at different events, man, your name comes up. And he's just one of the ties that bind us through you, Billy, and our connections.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because, obviously I used to say to him, those are my boys over there, man, and, they're coming hard for you. And, unfortunately, remember Jeff Lageman got hurt that game. He blew his knee out. And
I sacked Neil twice that game.
Yeah. I think he remembers, too, because, he said something to me like, man, your boy was all over me. I'm like, I told you he was coming.
It was my job.
Yeah, but you know what? Look, I'll tell you one thing, and this is something that I'm always, I've cherished. I've been very proud of it. And a lot of people don't realize this, but I'm going to share this. The only guy to ever sack Dan Marino for a safety, you're looking at him, Marvin Washington. And you know how I know? Here's the proof. Marvin Washington sacking Dan Marino for a safety.
That was November, or might have been October '92.
Yeah,
I remember it, and Pete Carroll was the head coach now at Seattle, was our defense coordinator, and I can remember the offense. They had 4 wides, so they were in a dime and 1 back, and we brought 6. And no, we brought 7. And either Dan was going to get it off real quick, or we were going to have a guy free. And the running back to my side picked up the safety coming up the middle, and that left me as a free runner. And I get Danny for a sack, which, a Hall of Fame quarterback, but we used to always have good games against Miami. Yeah. But I can really truly say that Dan is one of the cool guys that I played against, and he's another friend, And you can talk about what he's remembered for against the Jets. I think he's remembered for the fake spike, but he definitely remembers that he got sacked by a safety by me.
Well, it's so funny. I see Dan every year at the Super Bowl, and he sees me at Fox doing interviews and running around. So, last year we took a picture together, and he said to me, he goes, "Big Daddy, this is probably like our 200th picture that we've taken together from my playing days till now." And it was funny. I wasn't planning on taking a picture with him, but everyone was getting pictures, and all of a sudden we got roped in together. And you know what? He's such a class guy, and I've developed a friendship with him, and just like so many other guys, I do business with a lot of guys, and I do, and some guys I don't do business. But you know what? It's like okay, like Ronnie Lott. When I first met Ronnie, he came to New York.
That's our guy, 40 Deuce.
That's right. And Ronnie, we clicked, and I won't share a story that him and I had, but I'll get him on the podcast and we'll talk about it. But I learned from him in 1 year how a guy conducts business and how he conducts himself. And, remember I used to set up car deals, like you and well, Ronnie had 2 car deals, and it was, he had
his wife. He was running lot. He should have had 3 car deals.
Listen, he had a Mercedes and he had a Pathfinder. And I remember how when we went to lunch or dinner with both parties, how he handled himself, how he reassured everyone that, listen, I'm going to do this for you. I'm going to do this. And I'll tell you one thing, he was a man of his word. And, you get guys that say they're going to do one thing and they don't do it, or they do something else. But I'll tell you, guys like you and him and Mo Lewis, whenever I had a car situation that was open and available, you guys did what you were supposed to do and went and beyond.
It's all about being a professional football player. And you talk about Ronnie Lott. When he came to the Jets, I was one of the first players that took him out and showed him where guys lived. And he even taught me, how to be a professional football player, because we was at the Jets, but he had been with the 49ers, won 4 Super Bowls, been in the NFC championship games and what have you. He had been at the highest level in the Pro Bowls and whatever. And he came in and showed us another way, a different way. And Ronnie, is still friends of ours to this day. We met him a couple years ago at Grand Havana and had some cigars, and we're still doing business. Ronnie is a solid guy, and when you talk about Mo Lewis, that's somebody special that is a special friend of ours. Yes. That, we had the car deals together, and we actually, me, you, and Mo Lewis hung out many a days and many a nights, probably too many nights, but we hung out and had some good time. But he always comported himself as a professional player. And one of the things is after football, you see what guys are doing. One of the things that you can tell how Mo is a good dude is one son went to an Ivy League school, another son went to a service academy with the Navy. And that's how Mo is doing okay. And those are guys that I stay in contact with. Yeah. I have Ronnie Lott's number in my phone because of you, because you have everybody's number. What's 40 Deuce's number? And and I have Mo Lewis' number in my phone. This number ain't working for Mo. What's Mo's number? Yeah,
Mo called me because his sons were going to be in the city. So I sent them to our place, Morgan's in Brooklyn.
Oh, wow. I'm sure they enjoyed it.
Yeah. Oh, man. Mo was he called me. He's like, man, my boys were so happy, and thank you for, they were taken care of and treated incredibly, and obviously we know how great the food is there.
Let me tell everybody about this.
Go ahead.
It's Morgan's Barbecue in Brooklyn. They start smoking their brisket at 2 a.m. every day, and it's ready. They smoke their ribs. They smoke their chicken wings. They have a smoked steak that is outstanding. They have the mac and cheese. They have about 30, 40 varieties of mac and cheese. It's outstanding. And I say this as a vegetarian. But when I was eating meat.
Hey, that corn, that corn they have.
Oh, and the smoked corn and the grilled corn. It's everything. And the big thing is, I'm from Dallas. Their smoker is from Houston. So he knows what he's doing. I always say Morgan's Barbecue is the best barbecue, bar none, east of the Mississippi. I would put it against anything. And it's the best by far here in New York City.
Yeah, remember we had it on Fox and Friends that morning, and I'll never forget. We got to tell the story about how before we went on air, Marvin pulled the chef over and said, "Hey, listen, I'm going to see if this is for real or not, because I'm from Dallas. So if this is no good, we're going to expose you." And I think you scared the chef. But they've been on like 3 or 4 times, and Pete Hegg said he's taking brisket to his house. That's how
I remember. Listen, it was so good. I remember that show that we did, that all the hosts after the show was like, "Can I get a sample? Can I get a sample?"
Exactly.
Everybody was coming around them. I was like, "Yo, bro, I'll be over there. I don't want a sample, but I'll be over there." And to tell you what they did, the following Thanksgiving, I was like, "Yo, can you guys smoke me a turkey?" They said, "Yeah," and I wanted half a brisket, and it was outstanding. The smoked turkey was out freaking standing, and the brisket was the brisket.
Yep. Shout out to our man, Chef Sanubio over there at Morgan's.
He's awesome. He's awesome. He's awesome. And you know what? I'm a vegan, whatever, but I still might go over there for the potatoes. I still might go over there for the mac and cheese and just to hang out. So if you guys are ever in is that Flatbush?
No, it's right near the Barclays Center. A block.
It's right near, Brooklyn Heights, whatever. It's right off of Flatbush Avenue. If you guys are ever over there, Morgan's Barbecue, it's outstandanding. Another place that you told me about, and I know we're winding up, UMBERTO'S, New Hyde Park. Yes. Pizza, Italian. It's outstanding. I've had private parties there. I've eaten there probably 1,000 times. I love it. It's family. You can get a family salad. You can get an individual. The pizzas are outstanding.
I mean, obviously we have a lot of history there. I mean, we were going back with them. I'm going back since I'm 9 years old. But, you were there all those years, and you became friends with Umberto and his family, and they do have the best pizza around. And
they introduced me to Broccoli Rob.
That's right, Broccoli Rob.
And I love it. I still eat it to this day. It's outstanding. And that's one of the things that you guys, and I hope that comes out in this podcast, is Rich's culinary experiences. Because from Long Island to New York City, he will take you on quite a ride.
Yeah, obviously that now that I'm pushing away from the table and making healthier selections.
It's a smaller portion.
But yes, I've been watching, and obviously you see the work that I put in to make sure that I get.
You're gonna go from Big Daddy to Little Daddy.
Well, with Coach Hitesh monitoring my cardio workouts every morning, it's coming to fruition. But I mean, we could sit here, we could talk for about 10 hours. That's how much history we have. But I have to say, I've enjoyed every minute of it. We still have more to do.
You're my man.
Stories to make happen, and more things, coming down the pipeline. And I'll always be the first one to say thank you, and I love you. You know that. And
you're my brother. You're my brother.
You're my brother too, man, because so many things that you started me off. If you think about it, you were one of the founders. You have Bill Walsh has his tree, Andy Reid has his, Well, Big Daddy has his, and you were definitely one of the guys that was very instrumental in, showing me and educating me the way of the NFL, the inside the locker room way compared to what people see or read or whatnot. I learned a lot of things from guys like you and obviously like our boy up there in heaven, Billy Hampton, both senior and junior.
Yep.
Because, Mr. Hampton was a fatherly figure, and then Billy was a guy that I got another opinion in regards to when I didn't get your opinion, I got his opinion. So it was like I had a double.
It was good counsel.
Yeah. So and obviously I have stories that with him that are so funny and hilarious, and we could sit, like I said, we could talk for hours. But listen, I want to say thank you for coming on. You're my first guest, and I'm so happy and honored that you're it. And we'll do this again another time. And until then,
hey, tell everybody goodbye. Have your cousin Finder on. Hey, is Atesh around? Tell him I said hello. Is he around?
yes.
Is he around? Tell him to come on and get my camera and let me say what's up. He's doing a great job being your training partner.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, this guy is lost over 60 pounds because of his training.
That's
and
right.
He's lost over 40 pounds, and they're working out every morning. They're doing a good job. And these are my people in Long Island, and I love them, and we have a good time. And thank you guys for having me on.
Absolutely, Marvin. Thanks for
Marvin.
coming on, brother. And all right. So that's our wrap from the first Big Daddy and Friends podcast. And we want to thank Marvin Washington. Also want to thank Hitesh Patel for co-producing this, because I would not be able to do this. I'm not that smart. I know how to use a computer, but there's a lot of things that go behind this whole thing. And we'll be back again real soon with our next guest. And until then, Big Daddy, over and out. See you soon. Peace.